Boy, were we moved by Gretchen's song, by the reading of the Dalai Lama. Just the times we're in, none of us expected to be here with everything happening in the world the way it is. And I had one talk in the beginning of the week, and it has certainly changed by the end of the week. Because my heart too, the idea, I was teary when she was singing, "We must be kind." Because the call on us right now is so great. Each and every one of us here are here by divine appointment for a very important reason, to be in this time, to take the practice of spiritual understanding that we have and apply it. We are the vehicles that bring light in the world right now. So I wanted to, excuse me, I wanted to let you know that for centuries, nuns and monks were taught to look up when they walked and not to look down or look each other in the eye. They were taught not to look up. Don't look up. Don't look at other people in the eye. And all monks and nuns, if you see them, they kind of walk contained. They're not looking at anything. And they had a name for it. It was called custody of the eyes. This is custody of the eyes. And this monastic inclination was to withdraw from the world and not look at anything that was not of God. So the world and God were separate. And so you just walked along like this in a sense of separation, not looking down, not looking up, not looking at someone else. And our mission as practicing religious scientists has always been to heal the sense of separation. So today I want to talk to you about our community. This is who we are and what we're doing. There's the big stage. There's so many things playing out on the big stage right now. Huge environmental issues, wars, all kinds of things are being played out. And we have decided as a community, those here, live streamers, those tuning in, we have a certain way that we walk in the world. And I wanted to refresh us and remind us, as the reading and the music has done, exactly what we are committed to. And then to recommit ourselves in a time when the recommitment is so needed. So today I wanted to talk about religious science, about our faith tradition and what it offers, what it requires, and how to practice it. So custody of the eyes would be called today a spiritual bypass. You don't look at something because you don't want to be brought down. You don't want to see something because it's too intense. But we don't live there anymore. We have global eyes. We turn on the TV, we turn on our media, and we see the world. But we've also seen the world from a place where we took a picture of it. We were outside the confines of our natural environment, and we took a baby picture of ourselves. We had never seen ourselves before. And that has changed our consciousness, because we are now out of the confines of the limitation that we once thought we had. So moving in that way, our faith tradition is something that takes us and moves us out of our limitation to reject the custody of the eyes and to look at the world and to know we have a place in it and we have something to do in this world. We have something to hold. We have a way to be that is going to make a difference, each and every one of us. And many faith traditions have different ways, but my intention and my practice has been to be in religious science and to follow that tradition, because it takes me somewhere where I feel I can make a difference in a way that allows more light, more love, more compassion, the understanding of oneness, allowing that baby picture to thrill my heart. We are all one without borders and boundaries, and to incorporate that in the deepest way into the practice of everyday living, because we're a practical application of spiritual principles. So in what our faith tradition offers, what it requires, and how we practice it, I want to start with what it offers. And we have seen that our picture from space, and we have the vision of oneness. And in that vision, we see that we're all connected. What happens in one place affects something else. We understand we're all connected. We understand it intellectually because there's a global mind, and we're awakening a global heart. That's what's happening for us. What we do to somebody else, we're doing to others. I know a lot of us have been horrified by the visuals that have been before us, and we might want to put the custody of the eyes on because we don't want to see what's going on in the Ukraine and children, and the whole thing is so horrible. It's right in our face right now, but as the words of the Dalai Lama in the song said, we have something that we can do. So let me just flesh out our faith tradition. Our tagline in our faith tradition is a world that works for everyone. We always say that, we believe in a world that works for everyone. Well, that can sound so out there, so big. How does that work? What does that mean? When you flesh that out, what does it mean? So at our last convention, when the religious science leadership and community laity met, they fleshed out what that really means, and I want to share that with you today. We envision all people, all beings, all life as expressions of God. We see a world in which each person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and the connection with each other, a world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life, a world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, the corporate, academic, social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emergence of global awareness. We envision a world where every person has enough food, a home, a sense of belonging, a world of peace and harmony, a world of justice. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grow, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness is the norm. We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. That's a mighty, mighty vision. It's a vision we're holding. It's a vision that we can bring forward. It's an inspirational vision. There's a lot of words to it this morning, but if you actually take in the essence of the vision, we are holding something about our magnificence, our spiritual truths, that we are the very life of God, that we show up to be the presence of love, of grace, of forgiveness, of compassion. That's our work. That's what we're called to. That's what we're doing together. So it's such a privilege to hold that vision and to work within our community to bring that forward and to bless the world with that idea of our being the presence of love and compassion. But what does it require? I loved that action as part of it. It requires acting and thinking in a different way. It talks about, Ernest Holmes told us about this situation in one of his books, Creative Mind and Creative Success, that when you throw a ball toward a window, it's going to break the glass because the law of motion is at work. There's nothing, it's a law, it's how it works. You throw the ball, the glass is there, it's going to break the glass. But if someone intervenes and catches the ball, the glass won't be broken. We're the intervention. A ball has been thrown. And we are awakening in consciousness so we can be the intervention that the glass doesn't break. We're the place of waking up. We're the consciousness of catching the ball. The requirement is that we're present for that we understand it. We don't want the glass to break. We have agency, and that's the requirement, to believe you have agency, to believe we have power, that no matter what we are seeing before us, as Jesus said, there is something greater in us, that it's greater in us than that is in the world. There is that power of life in us, that power of God that is greater, that is in us, and we are activating it by our awareness, our consciousness, by our speaking and our actions. So the requirement is just the belief that who you are, sitting in this seat or watching, you have the power to change the world, and the time has come for the change. And so the work we're doing together is calling us forward. Get rid of the eyes that are afraid to look, and remember, look within to the power and presence of God that is sustaining, guiding, and pushing us. We're being pushed through the knothole to birth a world that truly does work for everyone. We're global. We're aware of it. So the requirement is there. And then the practice of it, well, this Wednesday, you'll see many people walking with ashes on their head, because this is on their forehead, because it's the beginning of Lent. And this is my favorite time because I love the Christian story. I love the idea of resurrection. I love the idea that you can see death and say there's something more than what's appearing before me. I love that idea, and those 40 days start on Wednesday. And so if you want to join lots of people all over the world, what they do for 40 days, or in my tradition, we used to have to give up something. When I was a kid, we'd get little mite boxes, and the money you were going to spend on candy, you had to put in this little box, which we didn't like doing, for sure. But the big thrill was when all of us brought our little mite boxes in, and we had like $25 to give to somebody. We felt great about ourselves. We were like, yeah, we can do this. So these 40 days that are coming up, they're coming up culturally. The story of Easter is a story that death, suffering, does not hold us. It's a story, whether you believe it literally or metaphorically, there is a resurrection. We will rise. We are rising now. That's what's happening. We are rising. We are calling ourselves to the highest consciousness, and each and every one of us are involved in that work. It's a mighty and beautiful work. So knowing that we have agency and that this is our call, I would like to just do a little exercise, if we could. If you could stand and turn on the light in your cell phone, would you do that? If it's comfortable, or just hold the light in your heart. So we just have some lights on somewhere. And we can just be like a rock concert. Let's just wave our lights. Yeah, and I'd like you to look around. It's not a frivolous act, even it's fun. It's just a reminder of who we are. that we have light, we have agency. And so I'd like to close with this reading. As you look around at each other. Don't have the eyes cast down. And hear this reading and let it be so clear to you. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended, not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. The light that is you. Look around the room. You are the light of the world. And may that light shine, bring us to peace, reconciliation, and change our lives. Thank you so much for sharing your light.